Now, most architects would actually prefer to work on new buildings where you have more of a free hand to express your design and your creativity. But once in a while, it is actually quite great to have the opportunity to work on an old building like what you have just seen, presented by architect Chee Wee. And that was the opportunity that we were given few years back by one of our clients, and we were given this opportunity to give a new life to a building, an old building that has been forgotten by the people of Kuching, because it was a building that was totally invisible from the context of the city, because later on you'll see when I start to present some of the pictures. Now, how many of you do not know where Kuching is? Can we have a show of hand? Okay, we do have a few people who don't know where Kuching is, and the good news is I have prepared a map to show you. Okay, this is a map of Malaysia. It's a totally useless map. I show this because it's from the Tourism Malaysia, but I don't think it's a good map to show you where Kuching is. So I got another map. That's where we are, Kuala Lumpur, and this is Kuching. It's actually on another island. And that is Sabah, if you don't know where Sabah is. Okay, and the next map shows you where the building is. This is a very unrealistic map of Kuching, but I think a very interesting map. Kuching is a riverfront town. That is the Sarawak River, and the old part of Kuching is actually all centered around here. This is the old Kuching town. And the building is actually smack in the middle of the old part of Kuching town. And this is the building. So when you look at it, actually it doesn't look like very much. We were given this commission by the client. I was very excited because even though not many people know about this building, because it was hidden behind a row of shop houses, and it's sort of hidden, totally hidden by a thick bush as well. So it's a building that has been erased from the memory of the people of Kuching. But I had been there a few times. I was tipped off by a friend, and I really loved this strong personality of the building. And the crumbling structures, the collapsing roofs, and the broken down walls gave it a sense of mystery. And I really love its time-worn character. It has even been used by, as a backdrop for wedding photographs and fashion shoots. So when we were approached by the client, I jumped at the opportunity. Now I find old buildings very interesting because they have acquired this patina and personality from years of weathering, and also they have many layers of history which we can peel back and uncover. And this building has obviously gone through many iterations and usages, and here you see the word Yanmar on one of the walls. Yanmar is actually a very well-known Japanese generator and diesel engine manufacturer. So this building was probably at one time used as an engine workshop. As you enter the building, you see the existing timber structures, and there are also some reinforced, very heavy timber beams here. So obviously this has been used to carry like very heavy machineries that they would work on. And there were also some sort of built-up concrete benches where they probably would put up the machines and work on them. So as you go into a building like that, you start to actually see a lot of very interesting history about that building, and it gives you ideas about what to do with this building. The roof was all timber structure. The columns were all billion columns. Billion is a very hard tropical wood from Sarawak that is probably a bit like your changao here, or teak from Thailand. It's a very strong timber that would last for hundreds of years. But unfortunately, the roofs were actually in a very normal hardwood, so they were actually broken down and crumbling already. And what I find most interesting was the light that streamed through the skylights and also the cracks on the roofing sheets, which gave the building a very ethereal quality. Most of the walls were in masonry and in good condition. And there were lots of concrete blocks which provided ventilation into the building. There was also a mezzanine floor which probably was used by the workers as lodging. So overall, the place was in quite bad condition and in bad need of a major overhaul. Most people and most clients probably would look at this building and say, why bother? Let's just demolish it and build something new. But fortunately, our client had the same idea as us. They love the special character of this building, and they love the soul of this old building, and wanted to preserve as much of the character of the building as possible in the renovation. To do that requires a different process from the normal, usual architectural projects. So from the beginning, we decided to use a light touch to try and not impose our own architectural vision, but rather to let the personality of the building review itself and dictate the design process. We started by building a SketchUp model of the building, including all the structures, so that we could visualize it better. Then we look at how to insert the new functions in the building, which was to provide a bar, a cafe space, a dining area, function rooms, and also the kitchen spaces. This is a model that we did of how we visualize the spaces would be organized. And there was actually a split level on the existing building. So we put a bar spaces on the lower level and the dining spaces on the upper level. And the client had a few warehouses full of this salvage building materials from their previous projects. So we actually had a lot of recycled materials to work with for this project. These are some of the visuals that we did to try and think about how to treat the spaces. We wanted to actually, even though the mezzanine floor was actually crumbling and had to be totally rebuilt, we wanted to sort of recreate it and preserve the memory of that old structure. So we wanted to recreate all the timber frame that was how it was like in the past. And we tried to insert some new elements into the spaces to bring it some new life. But not all these ideas actually ended up in the final building. And now you see the finished building from the main entrance. So you enter into this building through the original timber doorway. What we did was just to clean up the existing door leaves and the door frames, and you peel back some of the paint, so you can see the layers of history of this building, and actually looks quite beautiful with all these different layers of paint that has been built up over all these different years. And inside, we try to keep as many of the existing columns as possible, and all these timber structures that you see are all original part of the building. And now you are into the main space, which is the cafe area, and looking into the dining area. All those square windows that you see on the gable end of the building, they look like they belong to the original building, but they are actually all recycled windows from a different project. The whole roof, we had to actually replace it because it was already coming down, as you could see in the old photos, and we actually changed the roof into a new metal roof, and we also introduced a white color ceiling to brighten up the whole space. That's a view towards the bar, and all the timber that is cladding the bottom of the bar counter is all recycled door and window frames. This is the main dining space, where all the walls are original and all the vent blocks are original, but all the upper part of the timber windows are all recycled from other projects. The mezzanine floor was completely rebuilt, and we used a lot of recycled aluminium frames from other projects, and finally actually fitted in quite well into the old building. And one of the biggest joys of working on a building like this is to actually see how people start to use it and to enjoy it. So this building has since become a very popular venue for, of course, the dining F&B part of it, but also as a very popular event space. A lot of events have been organized here. Art and craft workshops, and also it's become a very popular venue for weddings. Okay, now I just want to show you a little bit of the context of this building. The warehouse is actually here. It's hidden behind this row of shop houses, and this project was actually a part of a group of buildings which we were commissioned to renovate for the client. So it included, in this picture, you can see the 2 units of shop houses, which actually was the reception area for the whole project. And that's the warehouse at the back. And up on the hill is actually an old building which has been converted into a heritage lodging house. And you can see in this picture also the old part of the old town of Kuching with all the old shop houses, and that temple building is one of the oldest temples in Kuching. And this picture gives you another view of the 3 elements of this project: the shop houses, which form the reception, and the warehouse, and the heritage lodging house at the back. So you can see from this picture that the granary building is actually totally hidden from the street level. And from this picture, you totally can't see the granary building at all. And that's why it was a totally forgotten building in Kuching. I want to digress a little bit and show you the lodging house. This is the Marian lodging house. It's an old building. It was an old mansion which belonged to the Chan family, the Ong family, a very one of the richest family in Kuching in the old days. It was donated to the church, St. Thomas Church, which used it as a lodging house for their visiting church members. And when our clients took over, they wanted to convert it into a heritage lodging house. So that's a view of the building after it was converted. So basically, we try to preserve the building as much as possible. We added in some of the, extended some of the site of the building to create more space. And the wing at the side there, next to the swimming pool, was a completely new wing that was added to the building. That's another view of the whole building with from a car park building, which gives you a good vantage point. These are the interiors. We preserve the original character of the building as much as possible. And the rooms also retain the original character of most of the existing elements. Even the furniture were recycled from the existing furniture used in the building. Okay, thank you very much. And I hope you will visit Kuching and stay in this building. Thank you.